yes, you can make money raising rabbits, but I want to be straight with you about something, is that it's not passive, it's not easy, and if you're willing to do the work, it is possible. I've been doing it for 16 years, running my rabbitry at a profit, and to some that might sound a little like she's making a profit off animals. Maybe so, but I have been able to get through the unpredictable seasons of economies without ever wondering, can I keep the hobby I love? I am financially stable and I can pay whatever it takes that these animals need to care for them. And being financially stable and knowing that I can fund their care without question, that's what they need from me. They don't need me to be living on emotions. And so if you're waffling on those kinds of doubts, let me put this into perspective, is if you want to care for animals, the money has to come from somewhere. There are a few key decisions and issues that I see people making that almost guarantee their, I don't want to say failure, but it makes it extremely difficult to run your rabbitry at a profit if you make these mistakes. And so I'm going to run you through what these decisions are and how you can combat them. All right, the first decision you need to make is choosing a breed and a rabbit quality that has real profit potential. A $50 rabbit eats the same amount as a $250 rabbit or a $300 rabbit. There are some that I've seen for sale and sold for significantly more. And so I'm not saying that you should choose a breed that you don't enjoy only based off of the price. But if you find a breed that you enjoy and it has the ability to have a higher income stream potential, then don't purchase the cheapest one you can find and think you're going to be able to charge enough to cover the expenses. So here's an example. I fell into French Lop rabbits, and I didn't know at the time like what their potential was. But as time went on, I started to find that out, and I generally love them. And what's caused me to stick with them for so long, since 2009, is that they are able to fund themselves on top of me enjoying them. And so nowadays, you're going to have a really hard time finding any of them under about maybe, I've never been quoted one when I'm looking to buy under $200. Sometimes you'll get lucky and find a deal, but that's so rare and you cannot count on it. Sometimes you'll find one for $100, maybe, but that's oftentimes someone trying to just get out of the breed or get out of rabbit raising in general. And so on average, anywhere from $150 to $175, all the way up to $300 to $350. And so that might not sound like a lot to some people, depending on the breed you raise, because some people pay way more than that. But the $350 is about the max for the breed, as long as they are not a extremely rare color. So something like chocolates or otters or something like that, those can be $400, $500, and $600. And so it's smarter for me to choose a breed like that can cover the expenses, which it costs about, a rabbit that size can eat a 50-pound bag of feed every 10 weeks. So, that's about $25, $30 for 2.5 months. So that sounds like a little bit in the grand scheme of things, but when you're feeding 10 or 15 of them, that's about a bag a week. So we're talking about $100 a month. So I know that I have to at least have one sale per month in order to cover the cost of just keeping them. Now, obviously there's a lot that can go into pricing, and I choose to price mine on the lower end, largely because I know the quality that mine are and they will hold their own in showing, but I don't want to spend, multiple weekends a year at shows when my son and my husband are just not into it. And I value family more than trying to convince my son and husband to go when I know that they don't want to do it. And so my husband has his own hobbies. Yes, he takes the time out for them. I take my time out for my hobby that I want to do to the amount that I want to do it. But also showing is expensive. And, there's gas and entry fees and just the whole day. It's exhausting. And so I show 3 to 4 times a year, enough to keep my feel for, am I making the right breeding choices? And then I let it go with that. That keeps me happy. I get my show taste done. I feel good about the choices I'm making. And I know I'm on the right track with my breeding choices, and let it be at that. In that way, I'm still able to keep my foot in the show world, but then also not just run my life that way. And so that allows me to charge more, but not maybe the full max amount of showing, but then, still have good quality ones. And people are willing to come to me when they want a pet as well. So with that said, know what your income goals are and what the options are to reach that profit potential. All right, this next tip is something that people miss a lot, and that is market before you have anything available. And even if you're in the middle of your herd growth strategy and you maybe, you just don't have anything available now, you still need to market. Building an audience trust takes a lot of time, and it can be done easy. You don't have to have this, spend hours a day or, hours on your phone. That's not required. I market my entire rabbitry on about 4 hours a day on Mondays. And if you were just selling livestock, you could probably do it in about 2 hours once a week. But I obviously have this YouTube channel and everything else. And so you choose your marketing strategies wisely. We'll get to that later. But you have to market often. You cannot expect people to be willing to buy from you when the litter is finally 8 weeks old and you just now tell them they're available. And that's where I see a lot of people make a mistake. And they also are not very clear when it comes to this animal is available. It depends on the platform that you are on, but you have to be very strategic on your wording and saying these will become available. Just say it like that. Certain platforms, especially Facebook, you're not supposed to sell animals on there. And so I would not recommend saying this animal is for sale, this much money, blah, blah, blah. But you can market your business on there. Okay. And so I've been doing it for a very long time. I think I finally started my first Facebook page 2010, 2011, maybe. As soon as I figured out, Facebook was a thing and started doing that. And so it takes about 7 to 11 times for people to see that you exist before they consider purchasing from you. And that is a product that they already planned on buying. And so a livestock or an animal is more commitment. It's often more expensive. And so I've gotten people multiple times saying, I've been researching for years. I've been following you for years on this platform or that platform. And so you have to stay consistent, and it will build up over time and you'll get momentum going. And then eventually sales will become much easier, only if you don't give up. Because do not expect to be able to post 4 times a year on a Facebook page and expect it to work. It's just not. You might get a few, but you're not going to be able to be like me, where I have a built up waiting list where people have paid money to be on it. On top of, within minutes, a rabbit can be sold. So having that much ease or demand is so worth the effort, let me tell you. If you want your expensive hobby to stop taking from your living expenses and start paying you back, then the Profitable Rabbitry Playbook is my strategy and guidebook for how I run and operate a multiple 4-figure a year rabbitry on 15 rabbits or less. It goes over the business strategy, the herd management, the marketing strategies, the business decisions that you need to make in order to have a profitable hobby that you enjoy but pays you back at the same time, turning it into a business. So if that sounds like something you want to check out, the link is in the description. And this next strategy is building out your herd or your livestock number with the demand that you have. And so I see this all the time. They love to they get excited and they want to go buy 10 or 15 rabbits. I get it. But when you are first starting out, you do not have the possibility or the ability to sell that many that quickly. And so you have to be able to grow with your demand. Start with a breeding pair or a trio, which is 1 buck and 2 does. And start with that. And truthfully, I would recommend you start with that for 1 year and market that and get the consistency going and your name built up. So as you get to the point of your litters being sold you can start allowing deposits to be like earlier once you know the genders even. But if you can have all of your animals sold by the time from the time they were able to leave to 3 weeks after that, then you could probably increase your numbers. But I love to have everything sold before it's even able to leave us, to be honest. Deposits are placed on them, and then they can choose whether or not, to choose an animal that's available, or they can wait, and that's fine. But I love to be able to have things sold real quick, so I'm not ever wondering, how is this animal even going to go? So it's so much more, it's worth the mental piece of selling within your demand and then growing. And the only way to grow that is to increase your marketing. Okay, I know that's not a fun, it's not a fun topic for everybody, but it's a necessity. The other thing I want to add to this too is the more breeds you have, the more split your attention or your audience becomes. And so some people just want a certain breed because of the look. Some people don't care. They're just looking for a rabbit. But when people know what to come to you for, you start building word of mouth. You start building reputation in the sense that other people can recommend you to their friends. I've had a lot of situations where, especially in the pet world, they loved the pet and they wanted one. And so they've sent their friends to me, that kind of thing. And so when you are so spread across breeds and people don't know what you breed, then they just don't think of you to recommend you to other people. And so I know certain people who I know they breed this one, so they're just going to be the one that comes to mind when someone asks, who would you go to? So I would, at the very minimum, start becoming very confident with one breed. And then maybe when you're at my position, in maybe 10 years in, you could probably add another one. But even at 16 years in, I would much rather have my focus and intensity on one breed and be really good at them and have people know that I can go to this girl for a good pet rabbit or a show rabbit or all of the above. And, be able to just have that snowball effect rather than having to work as hard and wonder if things sold. Okay, this next strategy is one that is so deeply important that a lot of people don't want to because it's not fun. But know your numbers. And so not only how much can you sell your livestock for, but what is your minimum annual cost to where you have your expenses covered, and then everything above that is profit. And you can choose to invest it back into the rabbitry and grow if you want to, or you can take that to your family. And so the minimum amount, the best way to figure that out is just very simple. Start with your feed. That's your guaranteed expense, right? So you would take the single amount, take a cage cup that you have that you feed your animal in, sit that on the scale, let it zero out, weigh the amount that you feed one rabbit, then multiply that times however many you have, and that's your daily amount of feed that you go through. Then multiply that times 30. And then however many ounces that is, how many feed bags does that cost, or how many feed bags does that require you to cover that amount? And that's your monthly annual cost. Obviously add in maybe 20, my estimate would be about $20 a month extra for feed bowls, equipment replacement, things like that. And then as you start to get, your animals get older, you start to notice like, okay, we need to maybe save some back for a new buck or some new animals, things like that. Then you need to start stashing that away. And so start keeping that. And then that's going to be an upcoming expense. So just know what it costs you. So for example, is that, I told you it costs me about $100 a month right now. And I know that, like I said, I have to sell at least one to cover the amount monthly, but the sales are not regular. That's one thing you have to also be aware of as well, is like you're not selling monthly all the time. Especially with rabbits, it typically, we'll just go a calendar year. January is super high and it's really starts to dip down a little bit all the way through March and April and starts to slow way out. And then June, July, and even August is slow, and then it spikes up, but still not as high as January. And it spikes up through the fall and then dips over the holidays and then back up again. And so there's two main spikes in the year. That's where your heavy sales are going to come, as long as you have livestock ready for that. So if you can time it about then, that's the ideal point. But all that to say, know when those numbers are, because that allows you to save and control your stability as much as possible. All right, and this last section is just more of a reminder that when you can go at this with patience and knowing that it's going to take time and it's not fast and it's not a post once or twice on your phone every so often and you get money. It takes work and effort and consistency, but once you build the habit, it just becomes a part of your daily life, and it's not as difficult as you might let it feel. And so there is nothing greater than knowing that when the economy might feel a little hesitant or unstable, or when 2020 happened, I never had to wonder, can I keep the thing that I love? Can I keep the animals that give me mental peace or allow me to have fun and relax and turn off the weekly or daily stresses. I'm able to do the thing I enjoy because it covers its expenses and even more. And so it's worth building up the reputation in order to be able to have the money to keep going through the hard seasons. Consistency in marketing is your number one. Do not get over your skis about the amount of number or your production. You have to grow with your demand. And you need to know your numbers, that what the minimum viable income is and what's possible. And then choosing wisely when it comes to the livestock you choose to raise. And if you're able to do multiple income streams, that's also another great option. So I know this is not, it's not maybe what you wanted to hear, but I'm also the type that I'm going to call it to you straight and tell you the truth. So if you want to learn how to run your rabbitry at a profit, like I've done for the past 16 years on a very small herd compared to a lot of livestock raisers, then the Profitable Rabbitry Playbook is my business strategy book for rabbit raisers. And you can check that out in the description. And if this video was helpful for you at all, make sure to hit subscribe and check back for more videos around rabbitry business, raising rabbits with a practical mindset to where we have enjoyment without attachment. And we don't really get into the fur mama vibes of, we don't allow emotional roller coasters. We protect our emotions, but we steward the animals well that we care for and do our absolute best to solve their problems and heal their health issues. But we are also wise with our money and secure in that. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments and I will see you next time.